Hello, Narnach here. Oh, welcome back to Path of Exile. We're playing in the Fall of Oriath beta wave 2 with a Viper striking shadow that will eventually pick up Abyssal Cry. So as promised, I did the library in between episodes and I acquired a couple levels. I'm level 30 now, so I'm no longer behind when I'm actually one level ahead. I think it's going to be the same as Lunara's Temple. And I have bought a couple of support gems that we will be using in the nearby future, as well as, for example, this lovely spell totem here that has a shadow. You can't buy it normally until you can get it from the library. So Wither is now actually on a totem. We have Vengeance now instead of riposte with melee splash. We also have life gain on hit linked with it. And I still got the riposte because I had a spare skill socket. Willow Blades, fast attacks, that was normal. I got myself Rallying Cry. Eventually we'll pick up Abyssal Cry, but I figured let's get a War Cry in so we can practice the just getting a War Cry in. And for now it's gonna help a little bit with the mana. For Viper Strike, we now have a 4-link. Melee Splash is still in here. That's eventually we're gonna hot swap this with Multi Strike. Yes, lovely other red gem. Lesser Poison we will replace with Vile Toxins once we get it, and that leaves the 4th slot here for Unbound Ailments. So it's gonna help our increase our damage over time. Also, one thing I didn't realize before, Viper Strike got nerfed in 2 different ways, not just in one. No, the first way, that was obvious, 60% chance to poison on hit, but I didn't notice before that the duration is now 4 seconds instead of 8. So you only get double the duration rather than 4 times the duration of your poison with a Viper Strike. So a lot of potential damage got lost there, but the upside is that it's now easier to get to your maximum number of poison stacks. So there's an upside. Let's see, Temp Change, Flame Dash, that's still the way it is. So Blasphemy is going to be for Temporal Change. The increased duration is going to be for a Wither Spell Totem. Fortify is going to be for Willow Blades faster attacks. And Poison and Life Leech are going to be for Abyssal Cry once we get it. So for now, let's push forward. Wow, heading into a different direction than usual.
You there, a moment of your time.
Yeah, leveling up also allowed us to actually equip one of the slightly higher level claws that we picked up somewhere along the way. Has been in my stash for a while, so we're doing now a little bit more damage. Our tooltip DPS is 677, used to be 500. But of course more damage means more leech. So hopefully we'll eventually get to the point where we can sustain our mana. Speaking of mana, I should use my washout a little bit more. Also, let's try to use the totem a little bit more. I notice monsters do like to go for the totem, so having a War Cry should help us pull them away from that. Assassinate the target and leave at least one guard alive. That's gonna be interesting. Just draw them out and hope one of the guards lags behind, basically. And that was the ghost. It feels like I'm seeing more ghosts than I did before. Not entirely sure if it actually is the case, but it does feel that way. Also, Panicked burning removal, that's very nice for the second flask here. And the unique founders. Okay, so we'll put the totem down. And you are dead. Life is gonna be a little easier once we get a Temple Change on Blasphemy, just so I don't have to manually cast it. Oh, lovely, lovely little group here. Most of our damage is high enough that we don't really need too many support skills, because we can just power through them. Okay. Of course, it's gonna be this way. Follow the red carpets. Oh, and say hello to Cole. Ew. Yeah, okay, this guy hurts like a truck. Keep in mind, don't use fortify or anything like that right now. But we are relatively nimble. Just trying to consider which is my better weapon. I think this was the new one, Time 1 Claw. Level 30 base, 19 life per hit. Works great in groups. Really works great in groups of mobs. Okay. Just look at them fall apart. No, we don't really have insane tanking capacity, but we do have a decent chunk of mobility. Yeah, target needed to die, so let's see if we can pull Solara, Faustina Solaria out. Let's see, so those are 4 of the green ones. If we just move really fast. Exactly, it's a bunch up there. Oh, there, she's got archer support. That's okay. I quite like that. Archers stay away. And then after that we can just murder the bunch. For which he didn't say anything about keeping them alive afterwards. Oh, that's... Let's see if we can find level 2. So for today, Piety and Dominus are on the menu. Especially now that the library has already been done. There's nothing really keeping us here. So that's nice. Yeah, still level 30. This is level 30 area, so we are the right level.
For 3 days after taking bad leaf drops. Felt just like this place.
Okay, this means Katarina is around here somewhere. It's actually a pretty appropriate place for Necromancer. Lots of corpses and such. So one of the nice things of leveling up a spell totem is that it gets more health and therefore it's gonna be able to sustain more punishment. All the gems you buy from vendors are now level 1 as far as you understand. They used to actually have a fair chunk of experience on them. I think they're now all just level 1. And also the Shiosa ones. So if you pick up a spell totem, you're gonna need to level it before it's even able to withstand more than 1 or 2 hits. One of the things, of course, with our Whirling Blades mobility. Can we teleport that? Oh yeah. With Whirling Blades, if you see enemies just bracing for an attack, if you will, past them, then of course they'll be shooting at where you were, not where you are. Works wonders, and because you have them poisoned. Of course, you don't really need to stand there all the time. It helps, definitely. But it's not mandatory. Okay, so last time we grabbed Soul Raker, so in between I've been going for a Written in Blood. I decided to actually skip Growth and Decay. I originally had it in my theory craft to picking it up at lower levels, but in hindsight it makes more sense to actually increase the size of your health pool, because sustaining not really the biggest deal, biggest thing to go for. You would just want to get a larger health pool. Let's see, increase quantity, 2 sockets, and revives. Okay, cool. So I got partially stuck behind the chest there, not all that great. And a fair chunk of things with sockets, but are they good things with sockets? That is the more important question. And I think the answer to that is not really, though. A 5-socketed full ringmail is something we could potentially use. There's energy shield on there. It's no evasion though, that is a downside. Current armor I'm using is pure evasion actually. Now I've got 2 green, a red and a blue socket, so pure evasion works. Evasion energy shield works. Basically any kind of combination that includes evasion will work there if you don't have the chromes to recolor them, which at this point in time I don't. Also I think this is going to be a good point to empty our pockets and then we can move forward. So did we ever actually pick up a bleeding removal flask? No we didn't. Okay, so somewhere in between Piety and Dominus, I'm gonna need to have a look at that. At least see if I can try to improve the situation. The Colossal Flask we just got, it has 100, actually has 1000 life, rather than 830 from the giant ones. No, from the giant ones. So, well, it would be nice to have a slightly larger one as a base and then craft some bleeding removal on it. I mean, poison removal, which I have now, it's okay. But this early in the game, it doesn't matter. Poison doesn't really matter until you hit Act 6. And even then, if your sustain is decent, then poison is an annoyance, not a danger. It's Rislatha, I think. That was it Act 6 or Act 7? No, that was Act 6. So that's where poison actually becomes important. Because then there's gonna be more things that apply it in that fight. Okay, we're actually at 31. Which means the support gems that we got are now usable. Also means we need to make a couple of choices. Because what I can do is drop the unbound helmets out. That reduces the damage of our poison a little bit. The hit DPS is still the same. Now we can move discipline over here. Move flame dash over there. So we can just reapply that one. And then we have a blasphemy that we can link, and then we have a blasphemy aura. And then enemies automatically will get inflicted with it when they are near. Which is gonna be helpful. Okay, oh. Can we teleport to the other side? No, we can't. And that might be a way forward. It's always a little bit of a puzzle. Whether you have to go just straight along the path or take a little bit of a exit down the side somewhere. Ooh, chromatic corpse. I like those. I like those very much. See, I think for all the other ones we just don't have either the sockets or the space. So yeah, because there's gonna be a green, red for our fortify support, which we don't. Okay, very much a work in progress, this build. But that is one of the things of Act 3 most of the time. You're just working to getting your build somewhere, but you're still just tying things together with duct tape. It's usually by Act 4, if you're gonna go against the bosses, that's where you really want to have your act together. Until then, Game doesn't require it from you, which is nice. Okay, more ID scrolls and then up and then hello Katarina. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna ignore your thing because I know we have to go back more or less to the start. Which just is not worth it. Also, 4 linked mesh boots. I think this might not be a bad deal. Because our current boots, they give us movement speed and resists. Okay, so we'll need to have a look at it, see if we can craft something decent out of it. But 4 link for boots with a lot of red and blue, that is good. We can work with that.
It's been a grand experiment, Chef. Time we saw the results.
Okay.
Not you. Not today.
Aw. Why not?
Not today.
Just put up the totem. And she's gone.
Damn you.
I try not to take my work personally, but you, Piety, were a satisfying exception.
Excellent. Okay, then Greiger. I think he's now rewarding us with a single skill point rather than 2. Yeah, you just get a 1 passive skill point. Is there a way we can rearrange this exactly like that and then it works? Cool.
Unfortunate. Tread carefully.
Where are they?
Okay. Well, I do some things, sell some things. Have a look. We got some level 30 sparkling claws. They have 1.6 attack speed. That makes them pretty darn fast. Lightning resist is tempting, but not really.
Be careful.
Gonna ding soon enough to get the larger node there, so we're doing all right. So I've just been gathering a bunch of potentially useful items, and I think we picked up a couple of flasks earlier. These are just going to be sold for chromatics, which potentially we will need. So
Yes.
a little bit of house cleaning here. Well, yeah. Everything can go. Festival mask. It is my kind of base. Some energy shield on here, a bit more evasion, and a bit of lightning resist, which is not maxed, so this could be an upgrade. So, vengeance, life gain on hits, then we take out the riposte, put in the new one. Also, let's keep in mind, flame dash is a bit of a bonus skill. So we want fortify, this is just a 2 link by itself. We have some space down here for potential other skills to go. Green, green, red. How achievable with that? Oh, we do have 3 chromes. It's a grand total of 3 chromes. Makes 4 in total. Yeah. Also, this is not entirely the way it ought to be. So green, green, red is going to be difficult on most of our gear, actually. And this requires 41 dex and int, so it is more likely to roll those colors. Let's see if we can do double green and a red. Yeah. This is why it's just so tricky to recolor things. Don't really have a proper working Verici bench, and as you see, the amount of currency is just really rubbish. So I think we'll just have to forego this for now. Anything we can do with the helmet? This one also needs another red. No. Yeah, I think this is going to be a very much a chromatic intensive character, though we did fix our resist with this, but if we lose our defensive setup, did we really gain anything out of it? So, just have a bunch of supports that we can just start leveling. Can we recolor this? This doesn't even have any requirements. Okay, I might have just made my life a bit more difficult here. Okay. Put that one in somewhere, put that one in somewhere. For now we'll just ignore this because we don't have space anymore. So yeah, crafting might not have been the best of ideas. We have a life flask. Let's focus on that. Goal here is a bleeding removal. Seething and bleeding. Hallelujah. And then we'll just put those away, put those away. And then for now we will continue. Relative to the level, we are doing massive amounts of damage, so we can get away with quite a bit. In terms of we're just shuffling things around, giving up on a couple of support gems, and then eventually all the pieces will fall into place. We're still mostly running around with 3 links, though. Well, if the previous beta is an indication, having the 1.4 link for my chest might actually be the same thing I'll end up facing both Malachi and the Act 5 bosses with. At least last time, whatever I wore to Malachi, I also wore when wrapping up Act 5.
Whoever built this was desperately compensating for some.
So 32, that means I'm 1 level under leveled. That should be good for experience gain. In my current level I can be 4 levels under leveled without suffering an XP penalty. Next level it's going to be 5. Detonate corpses. Okay, that is gonna be not so glorious. Anything? Spirit Souls of Brigandine. Yeah. It's not linked. And I know that the currency to mess around with links, and most especially the fuses, they are simply very rare. If you get a couple of very early lucky drops, just hang on to them, because you will need them in later acts. Okay, with a bit of luck we'll hit 33 before Dominus, and then we'll have a nice infusion to our life NTS. Keep in mind, most of the gear at this point, it's pretty rubbish. There's not a lot of energy shield on it. Hey, hello there, Caliga Imperatrix. And goodbye.
You there. A moment of your time.
So it's not until we get better gear that will follow, or is that going to be a previous area? Yeah. Well, it's not until we get better gear that we will actually get a decent amount of energy shield. And then it's not gonna be less than before. And once we make it to the Dried Lake, I might actually be tempted to just run Dried Lake a couple times to see if I can build up a little bit of a currency stash, and maybe just to see if I can sort out my gear a little bit. There is an exit. Lovely. I think this was the third of the areas, so that should get us a waypoint somewhere. And of course, once we clear the Dried Lake, then we can get ourselves an Abyssal Cry. And now that is something I'm looking forward to. Though we're not actually boosting chaos damage by too much, so we're not really benefiting from too much of the scaling. I think we gained 50% chaos damage for the first physical chaos damage hybrids. So this one, let's see, 14, 26, 36, 46, 56, and then another 20%, 76%. That's not quite bad. It's gonna take us from 8% max life to 14. So those Abyssal Cry explosions will pack a little bit more punch. So the emphasis in that is gonna be more on the little rather than on the more. But you gotta start somewhere. So if you don't respect the little things, then you're not worthy of the larger ones. So we're just gonna respect the small damage bumps. And then eventually they will start adding up. Unbound ailments. I got a decent opportunity here to just keep leveling our lower level gems, even if they're not actively slotted. But again, it doesn't really matter. This is indeed a 33 area. That means it would be nice to benefit some from that higher monster XP. Oh yeah, and note to self, keep using that freaking war cry. It's gonna be part of the core build, so I better learn to use it. Also, it just helps me with my mana. I would say the cooldown on the war cry is not actually that bad. It's 4 seconds. I think Abyssal is 8. But of course, Abyssal is a damage dealer, and this one helps you regenerate mana, so actually being able to cast it a little bit more often, it's nice. There's also a damage bonus, so there's a little bit of a damage function, or a hybrid function there. Rain, and yeah, you Paradise Venom, if you're just taking you out first, then there's no corpses for you to consume. So, as far as strategies go, there's worse ones than that. Okay. Various bits and pieces of currency just keep falling. I like it. Of course, I picked a room that didn't have any monsters. I got half a level already. I think we should be able to get 33 before Dominus, or otherwise it's gonna be annoyingly close. And in which case we might actually ding during the fight. Because there's a lot of uniques in that fight that bring in a juicy amount of XP. Also, they'll be 2 levels above the area, which helps as well. Makes them worth more experience. Okay, oh, those were just corpses. I saw something glow from the corner of my eye. But those were just glowy bears. Okay, another staircase. 60% a dual ring, that is nice. One of my rings is... Actually I did replace them, but this is a lower tier dual ring, so getting a higher one would be useful. Okay, sign usually gets stored there on new accounts. But yeah, that means we are very close to the Dominus fight and there's just not enough monsters to gain another level, so we'll see. We will enter the fight underleveled. With a bit of luck, we'll hit 33. And otherwise, we'll do that on the aqueduct.
I've dealt with far darker shadows than you, Exile.
Okay. Okay, so they are doing decent amounts of damage. Yeah, they're chilling and I don't have freeze removal yet. Also one of those useful things. Stop it with your portals. Also, let's just hide items and ignore and focus on the bosses. You already see, we're doing a decent damage here and they are going down too much of a fuss. Just have to make sure we don't get hit too much, at least not too much by the same monsters at the same time. Well, 1-on-1. No match. Okay, Dominus. Yeah, okay, let's go for totem. Which doesn't really have that much life. Let's put the totem aside. Light of Divinity, I'm not a big fan. Okay, yeah. We are out channeling you. I like it. Oh, other side. Oh, touch of God. Nope. I will not be touched. Actually, on the shocking ground? No, I'm standing beside it. Also, he is now pretty dead. Last 8.4, that's relatively short term. The increased duration, I really want to see if it's also going to benefit the totem itself. Okay, there's some bleeding charges here. Wow. As you can see, we're getting a lot of life and his life is just withering away. And if you glance over to our mana, it is depleting. But if we... I was gonna say, if we just wait it out, we can see whether it works or not.
I always thought you'd be tall.
But then he died. And killing Dominus gave us written in blood. Excellent. That nearly puts us over 1,000 life. So, anything good or fun from this fight? 4-link Holy Chainmail. 5-socket Brigandine. Yeah, might be useful. Holy Chainmail. Seeing if we can maybe shift some things around. We'll just have to see. But for now, let's say hello to Lady Diala. Then the way to Act 4 is opened. And I'll see you again next time. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the aqueduct. Bye bye.